always so easy. We're trying what we can. At the same time, Srila Prabhupada stressed also or emphasized that as wonderful as it is to be in the personal association of a great soul like this, the real connection with him is when we share his mission. Because the heart of a pure devotee, that you cannot just understand by just looking at him. We may misunderstand many things. But when we hear him, we understand his heart is actually with his mission, with his service to Krishna. And that's how we can actually connect with him permanently. As you mentioned, there is this statement, he reasons ill, that means he's mistaken, or he's an illusion. He reasons ill who thinks that Vaishnavas die while living still and sound, and living try to spread the holy name around. So even at the time when Prabhupada was present here, some say, if I could have only been there and so on. But even when he was there, we were not just traveling, I was trying to catch up with him and just be around him and just wait whatever miracles he will do next. Of course he performed miracles all the time, and that was very amazing, and it really created so much conviction and faith in it. And also to get his Mahaprasadam from his plate was a very great opportunity, the Chanamrita from his lotus feet, the dust from his feet. But the real connection, Prabhupada explained, was that we actually share his mission. That we take up what is his desire, we understand what is his desire, why he came here, for what reason he came here, and we try to assist in that. And although most of us were very unqualified, maybe that is the one qualification many of us tried to develop at that time, or maybe some of them actually had it, or most of them had it. And we simply wanted to please Prabhupada, we simply wanted to give our lives to him, because we never heard or seen or never experienced such a great, wonderful personality with such a wonderful mission and such wonderful lifestyle and such a wonderful culture of Krishna consciousness. So naturally we're very enthusiastic and very grateful to be allowed to share even a little bit of it. Prabhupada was doing everything, but he also wanted us to assist and share this nectar. And we can still share this nectar now, even after Prabhupada left the planet. We can have a very intense and very wonderful connection with Srila Prabhupada, because it's not limited by time and space. It is on the eternal platform. Whatever is spiritual, that's on the eternal platform. And he told us, just as is predicted, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement will dispel all the anxieties and darkness of this Kali Yuga by and by. And it will take about 5,000 years. So of this, more than 500 years have only passed. So as time goes by, it will spread more and more. And it will be, I read it now in one of the Puranas, confirmed also, that Prabhupada mentioned it, that there will be like a wave coming from the Satya Yuga, from the Golden Age, where everyone was a pure devotee, Paramahamsa, and was God conscious. And that is created with the appearance of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So it's such an important mission. Sometimes we don't even realize how important and great it is. And after 5,000 years, gradually will be declined. So for 10,000 movement, for 10,000 years, this movement at least is going to last and is there. And Prabhupada said his books are written for that period of time, that for the next 10,000 years, they can be considered as law books, not just for us, but for everyone who is sincere, for all of mankind. So therefore it is recommended, and also GBC resolution, that not only the disciple of Srila Prabhupada, but also the disciples of his disciples and everyone else should be encouraged to very carefully study the books of Srila Prabhupada. That is very, very important. then you can also enter this wave which is coming from the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you will actually be able to participate in these eternal pastimes of being allowed to do pioneer preaching for the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And pioneer preaching is not just a passionate thing that you go somewhere and enjoy some adventures, but it also means trying to establish and maintain these institutions which Prabhupada founded in his mission under difficult circumstances. Because starting something that may sometimes be difficult, but not as difficult as also maintaining it. So if we can maintain it, it's very nice. And if we think of gradually expanding it in an intelligent way, just as Prabhupada told us, with great care and attention, and then also maintenance will be made easier. If we don't expand, then maintenance will be very difficult. We're always on the edge of the solution, so to speak. So there must be some expansion also, but very careful, in a very thoughtful way. And our main instruction is that we don't change things, that we kindly study how Prabhupada did. He said, simply do as I have done, and simply follow. Therefore the descriptions of the leading disciples of Prabhupada at that time, like Guru Das, who did so many wonderful things under Srila Prabhupada's order, and many others, to read them and study them, how they did things, very important, and we are very fortunate to have all this testimony here. And therefore these days are very important that we remember how we are connected with Srila Prabhupada and his preeminent position. And we should remember Prabhupada's preeminent position. That's a good example. Should be very conscious. Thank you very much. So that has to be preserved very much. And we should try to learn by studying Prabhupada's example how he did everything very, very consciously, with so much care and so much attention, as it is mentioned in the Guru Puja song also, which we are going to sing now and offer some flowers to Prabhupada. Pushpanjali means, Pushpa means flower and Anjali means like offering, right? Pushpanjali means like an offering of flowers. That is mentioned in many Puranas as a very good thing when you worship Krishna as a representative. That you take some flowers and you speak a prayer and then offer it to the lotus feet. That is Pushpanjali. Mostly it's flower petals, but you can also take whole flowers. So on special occasions we offer these flowers. And Prabhupada wanted that the worship is done in the bona fide way, with fruit and flowers and feast and all these things, and kirtan especially. Kirtan will make everything complete. That is the dharma for this day and age. So, Srila Prabhupada, under great difficulty, as we know, he was living here in Vrindavan and writing these first 3 volumes. And then Prime Minister of India, as far as I remember, he was writing a review and he very much appreciated that book and he got some recognition. He could have stayed in India and be very much recognized as a great scholar, philosopher, spiritualist, and have a happy life in Vrindavan. He very much was in ecstasy when he stayed in Vrindavan as a purely devoted Krishna's place. But day and night he was only thinking, I have this mission, all these poor souls are suffering and I have to go to America. So whenever he had a chance, he would tell people, I need to go to America. He didn't even have a passport, which was very difficult to get at that time. Finally he got a passport by some arrangement. He didn't have an invitation which he needed at that time. All of a sudden, somebody, because he asked everyone, can you send me an invitation to America? Someone he had spoken to a long time ago, never actually seen again, had actually asked his son in America to send him an invitation. And Prabhupada was surprised, all of a sudden there was the invitation here. And then immediately he made all arrangements to go to India, and he got a free passage on the ship Jaladuta. The captain, one of Jaladuta, one of the most fortunate souls in this universe, was allowed to bring Srila Prabhupada to the Western world, to America. Srila Prabhupada suffered 2 heart attacks on the way. He thought a third one, I will not survive. But then he had this vision of Krishna rowing the boat for him in a dream. And he knew, I will come here. Krishna wants me to go. And then he didn't know, he had never been to the West, he had never been outside of India, and it was this time of the year, and just a little before that. I was getting very cold, and we know, I will make it short then, when he came to New York alone, empty-handed, all he had was his books. So Srila Prabhupada said this movement was built on books. So Srila Prabhupada gave some books to different bookstores, and after some time he had to pick them out. They didn't sell one copy, usually. We can see his diaries. And then whenever Prabhupada was invited to speak somewhere or to meet people, he would always try to sell them a book, and they would buy books and be very grateful for these books. So Prabhupada is the first one who was selling books in this movement. That's how this movement started. He didn't rely on some rich sponsors or some uptown yogis, this and that. He went to where the real action, where the young people were living, where the drunkards were, where it was very difficult. And for the first year, he was staying sometimes in a little room in one huge building, which was a storage room without windows and no furniture. Very tiny little storage room. He was staying there for quite some time. And some people broke into that room and stole whatever little things he had, tape recorder, typewriter, manuscripts, Bhagavad Gita translation, all that was taken away. So many difficulties. And there were snowstorms, blizzards there, we can see that. And Prabhupada looked out the window, he had never seen snow. He thought somebody had painted all the buildings white in the night, and got the roofs first. And then he noticed what is a snowstorm, and he had no jacket or coat or anything. He just was wearing a kurta and dhoti. And he couldn't go out for 2 days, but he had to sometimes get little food. He was just living on little milk and a few oats, and that's what he was eating. So in the last week when we saw Srila Prabhupada in 77, and at Jamastami time, he invited us. He came all of a sudden. We thought he cannot move anymore. All of a sudden he was there in England. So we all drove there. And then we celebrated Prabhupada's Vyas Puja occasion again with Prabhupada. Prabhupada could hardly speak at that time, but he was speaking a few sentences. But mostly his servants, who were very dear to him, like Krishna Goswami, they were speaking on his behalf. And Prabhupada was very pleased with them. So then we celebrated Vyas Puja, Prabhupada sitting on the Vyasasana, and we had one of the most indescribable experience of our lifetime. So it cannot be described, so I won't mention more. But at one point, Krishna Goswami, he told the whole life and how Prabhupada came to America, and he established Krishna consciousness in about an hour's time. And Prabhupada sometimes interrupted him a little bit. He spoke with a very soft voice at that time. Because physically there was practically no more flesh on his body, it was just skin and bones. And but he was the same Prabhupada I had met before, emanating peace. That's what I noticed personally most of Srila Prabhupada was the deep peace he always had at all times, whatever happened around him. He was totally fixed and in shelter of Krishna, totally detached, at the same time totally dedicated. And that's, among so many wonderful qualities, the one that touched me most. This deep relief I felt in his presence. Sometimes on pictures you see Prabhupada seems to look heavy. I never had that experience. I don't know. We have many other photos of Prabhupada. But he emanated that very, very deep peace. He was like floating always. So when Krishna Goswami spoke, he had a very powerful voice, a very scholarly devotee, one of the first devotees of Prabhupada disciples. Very special and powerful personality. He told how Prabhupada didn't even have a place to stay sometimes. Then he was going there and then moving to another place. And he wondered, how long can I stay and extend my visa, but somehow I have to make it here. So then Prabhupada interrupted Krishna Goswami while he was explaining this. And Prabhupada remarked it in his usual very elegant way of also joking. And at the same time, it's not just joking, it's very deep. Pure devotee never really jokes in that sense. Whatever he says has deep meaning. But he's also floating. So even though he was going to leave us, and there he was totally happy, we could see that. So then he interrupted and said, and once I even stayed in the garage. And then he smiled. He looked around. And we got a little impression, just very tiny at that time, of how much endeavor, how much labor Prabhupada, how many risks Prabhupada had to face. Going alone to such a big city with no money, right into the lion's den, the most materialistic city at that time on the whole planet, probably, New York City. It's not New York City, it's New York City. What do you want to remark? It's a very, very materialistic place. And you have to be very tough to survive there even for 2 or 3 days. Prabhupada lasted. He didn't only last, but he was victorious. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, pure devotee can never be defeated, as we see also in the example of Jesus Christ. Everyone thought he's finished, he's gone. But then 2,000 years later, the whole world goes crazy in Christmas time celebrating his appearance. So how much impact Prabhupada will have on the world, we cannot even imagine. They don't even know they changed Christianity so many times. They don't know all the glories of Jesus. But whatever is known, still it keeps influencing, giving so much hope and strength to people. How much more this mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is totally non-sectarian, totally unpolitical, and it is only accompanied by singing and dancing and prasadam distribution and being compassionate, being gentle devotees. How much more this will affect people we cannot even imagine. So how much honored and grateful we should feel that we could come in contact with this movement and we can be part of it. And we can actually link up with Srila Prabhupada. So when I joined, I was 14. I hitchhiked to Paris when I was 14. The first time I ever traveled somewhere alone, because I had been visiting the temple for a few months every day, and I fell in love with all the devotees there. Krishna consciousness, totally. And I was looking for a real guru, and I had visited other groups, and they didn't impress me because of the commercial orientation of those movements. But here I saw the devotees were just giving everything out. Like I got a whole bowl of fruit for free there, fruit prasadam. And later I remembered, is there anyone who ever gave me something without expecting anything? That must be a real friend. And I went in my mind to the whole list of people I met in my life, age of 40. And I couldn't think of anyone. Everyone expects something from me. But then I thought, these Hare Krishna people, I had visited them half a year before, and they gave me that bowl of prasadam, and they have this nice Maha Mantra, and they seem to be real and serious. First time I couldn't understand what they are doing. I just went there out of curiosity, because philosophy was like a hobby of mine. So I studied all the religions, all the philosophies, because other hobbies were too expensive for me. So I found it very exciting, also, all these different religions and traditions, philosophy. So then I wanted to find some good translation of the Vedas, and I read in a magazine about Krishna temple, so I went there. And then I missed the temple for about half an hour because I was looking for an Indian-style big building, something like Jagannath. And then finally I realized it was in an old warehouse in the back there. And we went upstairs, and it was totally transcendental, a wonderful atmosphere there, which I could never forget. So then I kept coming every day, although I had pretty far to the temple. I was living pretty far away from Hamburg. I came by train every day after school, and I started chanting. And these devotees, the first disciples, some of the first disciples of Prabhupada were there in this temple, because Prabhupada sent them all over the world. And I must say, I have the privilege to meet Srila Prabhupada, but I also had the privilege of meeting his first disciples, whom we now read about, Rameshwara, Vishnujan Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Goswami, and so many others, Jaipadama Maharaj, so many others. And all of them, I must say, when we see these movies here in the beginning, sometimes we think because we saw Prabhupada was preaching, there were so many hippies and some of them spaced out, we think maybe the first disciples of Prabhupada were like that, they didn't know what they were doing, and they were just following sentimentally. But that's really not a fact. I cannot confirm that. And there are other shots also you find where you can see what they have done after only 1 or 2 years. Big Rath Yatras, 10,000 people, big Rath Yatra cars also, very first class daily worship. And then in 76, Prabhupada had his ultimate, one of his final triumphs. It was just triumph after triumph for Prabhupada in the end. But one of them was that he was, as the only person allowed to have a procession through 5th Avenue in New York, which is like the street of America, where normally new presidents, only when they've done something special, they are celebrated there with a big procession. Or the astronauts who first landed on the moon, they had a procession. But in that year, when Nikhilananda tried to have like the peak of his service to Prabhupada and have this big Rath Yatra on 5th Avenue, it was forbidden for all group to have a procession there. But actually I think Nikhilananda went there with another devotee, and somehow other, because whenever Prabhupada wanted something, we knew it can be done. So they went, and the police, head of police of whole of New York said, I don't know why I'm giving you that, why I'm allowing you, but I'll give you permission. I don't actually, it's not allowed. I don't know why I'm doing this. They knew why they are doing this, because Krishna wanted it. And whatever Prabhupada wanted, it came to happen. Whatever he promised, it came to happen. So you can see now, video films are now available of this huge procession they had on 5th Avenue with huge Rath Yatra cars, almost matching the skyscraper buildings, and so many devotees there. So that was because some of the devotees whom Prabhupada met in the very beginning, New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles, like Dhanavir Maharaj, he was actually the sportsman of the year, or the coming sportsman of the year, just before he joined. He had a big career ahead of him from a very nice family. He was living in Los Angeles, very nice place, sunny place. And it was the 70s, 60s, end of the 60s, and there was no AIDS, nothing. He could just try to have the solution of sense enchantment. Immediately after he got Bhagavad Gita, 1 week after, he surrendered his whole life until now to the service of Prabhupada. So you can imagine the attractive force of Srila Prabhupada, that he attracted such great people. Mukunda Goswami, they were genius people. Gurudas Swami, when you read his book, and I saw him, whenever he goes out, he meets an important person, he meets a famous personality, he meets them all, it's just his destiny. So these are not ordinary people also, those people which we met. It's not by chance that they met George Hurst and all the others, because they were very, very highly, and Prabhupada says sometimes, I have in San Francisco, now I have here these very intelligent young people who become devotees who give their life to this mission. They are very beautiful people and very educated people. They are not fools. So Prabhupada looked for quality. Many people came, so many people came, but those who actually gave their life to this mission, they were very, very special people, that they had this amazing opportunity to accompany Prabhupada on this wonderful pastime of establishing Krishna consciousness in this world. And I must say, I'm very grateful that I was able to meet some of them. So I hitchhiked when I was 14 to Paris, because they said Prabhupada is coming. I didn't tell my mother about it, she would never allow it. Told her I visited my sister. And then I just hitchhiked to Paris, and I didn't speak one word French. Devotees had already gone there, that much I knew, and I had a post box address, but nobody could tell me where it is. And the French don't like speaking other languages also. I didn't speak French. I traveled the whole night in a truck. I never hitchhiked before, so I tried to thumb down trucks on the highway. and wondered why they don't stop. But finally, a truck driver brought me to Paris. I came there 2 in the morning, and I tried to walk to the post offices, trying to find out if they could tell me what the answer. They said, nobody can tell you, it's just mailboxes and something. And I had maybe 10 marks in my pocket, and to know the language, I had a sleeping bag, not even a sleeping bag with me, just a towel and a toothbrush, and that's all I had, and my big bag. And I was walking in the middle of this huge city, didn't know what to do. Then one American guy I met, he spoke some English. He said, I think I heard they're doing some festival in that great part of town called something where the subway station goes. So I went there, don't know where should I look now. And then I just chant Hare Krishna. I think I remember you just surrender to Krishna if you don't know him. And so I just chant Hare Krishna, 9 o'clock in the morning, and I see some orange spots in the distance, and I think I'm hallucinating, I'm just too tired, I didn't sleep all night. I get closer, and that's where the devotees were, where they held the festivals. That was just a street. So Krishna somehow guided me. And they were unsentimental, so although I hadn't slept the whole night, they really gave me a broom and asked if I could help cleaning this big hall. They called the artists, it was the big artist school in the university. And they had rented a huge hall for Prabhupada coming in the afternoon. So that was one of my first services that I was allowed to actually clean that hall. There was a few others where Prabhupada was coming, and so I was very fortunate. And they put me in the dhoti. In the morning we were rinsed with a hose pipe. We were just standing in line outside, and they were going over us with cold water. And then there was my first shower, and they showed me how to put on tilak. And there are many pictures of that event actually. We can see German and French devotees, and we're having a big program with Prabhupada, then in Amsterdam and so on. So it was all very adventurous from the first day that I met Prabhupada, and it was all very exciting. And I wanted to see Prabhupada from a humble position, so I thought I'd first look at him after I paid my dandavats, and then I looked up, and that's how I saw Prabhupada for the first time. And but as I said, the real point is that this personal association, we could talk volumes and volumes, and it's important also that we know what Prabhupada actually said and what he did. Sometimes today, whatever some devotee does, sometimes they say, Prabhupada said, you can do like this. But then I ask them, where did you read that? Where did you find that? Are you sure Prabhupada said it? Sometimes we find whatever we do, Prabhupada said it. We should know what Prabhupada said, And therefore it's important that we can somehow share these memories. And also Prabhupada said, actually, if it's something significant, and actually everything Prabhupada told us was significant, it should be written, it should be black and white. We should not just say, we heard it or somebody said, but we should have it in written form also. And so much of what Prabhupada said is recorded. We have hundreds of lectures, thousands of letters, conversations, everything. So we should read and study it, and we'll be connected with Prabhupada, and there will be no doubt about what Prabhupada wants us to do. So this book distribution mission is very important. So far only 85 or 86 Bhagavad Gitas have been translated into different languages of Prabhupada's Gita. But the Bible has been translated into more than 1,200 languages. So we have still a lot of work to do. And I see it now in Norway, when we have a book in Norwegian, people actually appreciate much more than if it's just a foreign language or Swedish or English, whatever. They like to read it in their own language. So, and Prabhupada wanted it. That is the whole point. Prabhupada wanted us. He told me, he told many others again and again, that he gets very enlightened when we publish his books in a new language, in another language. So this mission you are also inheriting. I hope we can complete that mission before the last Prabhupada disciple leaves this world. But if for some reason we can't do it, you will get all the glory if you complete that mission. So please try to remember that. And we should also recruit people with that in view.